There are some religious people, including some US congressmen, who say we don't have to worry about solving climate change because God will fix it. Now, there are three major problems with this. Number one is the fact that God is not qualified to fix climate change, clearly having no idea how the world works, and never once mentioning in the book he wrote that the Earth was formed by a vast gas and dust cloud, but instead frantically tries to deflect from the fact that he has no idea how it happened by saying he did it all by magic. He's like some guy so desperate to get a girl into bed that he will say any crazy stuff in order to make himself look good. Like, yeah, I totally created the world. I started by saying, let there be light, and there was, and I'm like, hey, that looks good. And so do you. Now, the second problem is that when it comes to helping people, God does not have the best track record. To put this into perspective, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation have helped save over 4 million people just with their work on the measles and hepatitis B vaccines. And they have helped bring down the worldwide deaths from malaria by 42%. Plus, Bill has personally killed 0 people. Whereas God personally killed over 2 million people in the Bible, as well as created measles, hepatitis B, and malaria. Because if you want to take responsibility for all of the good stuff, then you gotta take the blame for all of the bad stuff too. In other words, Bill and Melinda have basically been cleaning up God's mess. And finally, and this is the biggest obstacle I think to God fixing climate change, is that God isn't real. Now, while I know this fact doesn't pose a problem for billions of people with their faith, I really do think that this is a real stumbling block to solving things like climate change, and I'm not sure that God can overcome this one. Because traditionally, before you can fix something, you do first have to actually exist. If science can't answer a question about an unknown fact, there's no need to spend any more time looking further into that. For the answer is obvious to any decent girl or chap. Don't you know, it's the God of the gaps.